Hey everyone, welcome back to the shop. We're plugging away on the Nova. Today is kind of, I don't want to call it odds and ends because that sounds boring. This is stuff that I need to do, but we're kind of trying to fill some space and get some things done while I'm waiting on some big stuff to show up. So I'm still working out, placing sort of my last big sheet metal order. And I bought some material today for the work the frame rails. So there's that. Tubing and some 18 gauge sheet metal, which we'll worry about later. I'm waiting on a legit sheet metal brake. I built that really light duty one a little while ago that was kind of just for fun. It was sort of just like an off the wall idea. Never really expected to do anything heavy duty, and it certainly won't do 18 gauge. So we got a real one coming. It was out of stock at my local store, but it should be in the next week or two. So we'll get going on the frame rail. But for now, I pulled out what I had back here by myself, which is horrible, by the way, if you ever have to do that. Which we can get around the car. And let me just show you on the trunk floor real quick. Man, it looks nice from this angle. Never mind. So we had to, where did I put it? Is it inside the car? Whatever. We had to pull off right here. The spot wasn't left over. There was I got a bump stop or something. It's actually just a bracket for a rubber bump stop that sits over the rear diff. And this piece I found, just from the research I did, sits over top of the flange on the floor. So, but this piece kind of sits up, crests up. So this was getting jammed. And if I can find the piece, I'll show you guys. Oh, it's right there. I lied. No, it's not. It sits over top, and it was kind of just cresting and getting in the way. Right here it is, right here. Let's give you an idea, if I remember correctly. Yep, this sits in there like that, roughly. So there's like a space right there. So this wants to sit over the floor flange, but this wants to go underneath it, and it was just jamming up. So I ended up just drilling it out. I don't think all of them come with this. This was from I don't know who actually made this. This is not an AMD trunk. I don't think AMD's has this, so you might have to deal with it. But if you have it on there, you're having a hard time fitting it, I just drilled it out, and I'll reattach it or I won't. But right now, one of the things I'm doing is working up here in the package tray. So we've got a piece fit up here, a couple little gaps I got to fill in, and one overlap spot I got to just trim out. But that was just some ugliness. It actually used to look like this. This is what was there. You can see someone absolutely butchered this thing, trying to fit speakers into it. I'm not sure, but that's what was there. And we're just going to blank it for now. And then later on down the line, when I decide what I'm going to do speaker-wise, maybe we'll come back in and we'll, drill and cut some holes. This one over here is not as bad. It's definitely been screwed with a little bit. You can kind of see right here. It's a little funky, but it's not bad. This will still fit a 6x9. Just clean it up a little bit and it'll be fine. So I might leave that one for now. I haven't really decided. We'll weld this one in. We're also working the trans cross member, transmission mount. Geez. So this was nothing earth-shattering. It was ugly and crusty and just a little rusty. So we wire wheeled it, wiped it down, and painted it. And we've got the hardware for that we cleaned up and just threw some cheap epoxy paint on there just to give it something. So I'm going to start burning in that patch piece, and then we'll probably go ahead and throw the trans cross member in for now and see what other trouble I can get in today. All right, so we finished up the patch and the rear package tray. That's all set. Now, whatever we want to do down the road, speaker-wise, no speaker-wise, whatever, it's a blank canvas. We're working on putting the power steering box back together. I tore this thing apart and bought a rebuild kit for it. If you want to know a little bit about that, I would recommend looking it up on YouTube. I didn't film any of this because I was following some YouTube videos along myself. They're not hard, but there is a lot of parts. And the one thing I would just tell everyone in my experience was they use these boxes, or very, very, very similar boxes, on a ton of vehicles, different makes, models, all through the years, through the decades. And if you're watching something that's a little bit different generation than what you're working on, they look the same. They are not exactly the same. So some little bits and pieces of information might be a little bit different if you're following a YouTube video. Also, if you buy a rebuild kit, make sure the rebuild kit you buy is applicable to your vehicle. I thought these things were rather generic and just kind of came with parts for everything. Stupid things like seal sizes changed over the years. So I actually went to put this thing back together with the first kit that I bought, and some of my seals didn't actually fit. They were too loose, and I mean, it wasn't just like, oh, you got a bad kit. They were very clearly the wrong size. I went looking for another kit and actually found one applicable to my car, 71 Nova, and ordered it. And the seals that came in that one were the right size. So a lot of stuff crosses over between the years and the generations, but there's just a couple little things that don't. So just be aware of that. At least for this car, Rock Auto did have a repair kit on there when you type in your year, make, and model. So it may not be a bad place to start, at least to acquire a part number so that you kind of know you're on the right track. But this thing is back together now with all new seals, a bunch of new bearings and O-rings and things like that. So shouldn't have to worry about that, and that should save me a few bucks. These things aren't overly expensive to buy, but they're not super, super cheap. And anytime I can save money, I'm going to save money. So I think that the first seal kit I bought was 30 bucks, the wrong one, and the right one was $15. So can't really beat that. Boy, brake clean is your friend when you're doing these jobs. So that's pretty cool, as opposed to a couple hundred or more to get a remand one or a new one or whatever. So that's all taken care of. I actually started working on the driver door as well. And remember we had the problem where there was some random bronze repair in the in the driver door. Not really sure why that was, but it caused the seam where you kind of peen it over to crack. And what I decided I was going to do, I was hemming and hawing, am I going to try to get a new one, or am I just going to buy a new one myself? Because I waited too long and there was no way I was going to get anyone to give me one. I decided, since I was going to have to buy a new one anyway, if I was going to get a new one, that I would just go for it and try to fix it. So I decided just to weld it on the car, or weld it on the door frame, the door frame. And I would maybe try to do like, an old school style, like lead fix in the on the crack. And then I quickly realized that one, I did not have the stuff for that, the right, type of lead, soldering material, whatever. And I also realized that I did, almost no research whatsoever on how to do that. So I decided, because I wasn't going to weld it, but as I was welding on the door skin, I hit a couple spots on the door frame itself that had some bronze, a little bit of braze repair. Welder doesn't like it. It spits and spatters, but it did weld. And I figured I'm just trying to kind of seal that crack up. I'm not really trying to, hold the bridge together. So I went ahead and just welded those cracks up. And it worked out pretty well. I mean, as well as you could really hope for it to work, if I'm honest. All right, let's see if we can get this thing in there without chunking the O-ring to death. Can I move this thing over anymore? Oh, yeah. I'm probably breaking things as we speak. That's a sharp edge. Come on. Oops. Just sprayed it down with brake clean. I'm going to put steering fluid back in it. This is your friend when you're doing this. There's a lot of system fluid. Keep everything nice and lubed up. So yeah, this thing will be back together here shortly, and I'll turn it. I'll give it some turns. Play with it a little. It's going in crooked. That's not going to work for me. Luckily, I have a backup O-ring if I absolutely just annihilate this one. Where does it actually sit? That in? That may have just gone in. Cool. So there you go. That's in. I gotta find the locking ring. This right here is going to be just a delight, I'm sure. So I'm going to struggle with this and hopefully not take my eye out. And I'll take you guys on a little walk around the door frame, the new door, because we went ahead and we also sanded it down and finished painting it. So let me just wrap this baby up here, and we'll check out some of my other handiwork. There we have it. One rebuilt Saginaw power steering box. So the have the stupid pipe or the stupid line fittings just in there to keep the threads good. I put a plug in there for now until I buy new lines. But this piece here, there's a stupid locking ring that goes in there, and the ones it comes with, I think were too long, or they were just way stiffer. I'm not sure which, but that fought me tooth and nail going in. I ended up just cleaning up the original, putting it back in. You push this cover in, and then the locking ring sits in a groove on the outside of this, or in the inside diameter of the outer shell there. So that's all good. That's back in, and it operates nice and smooth. I would show you, but it spits power steering fluid at me every time I turn it, so I'm not going to do that right now. Boy, what a mess. This job makes a disaster of a mess, just so you're aware. Here is our door. We went ahead and just primed it, but it's all welded up. This is just to, this was all purple and various shades of red and some other weird colors. So this is just the way it's going to live for now until we actually put, actual primer on the car and start to paint sometime in the probably far distant future. Over here, I wonder if I can move this without tipping the door off. Over here was our repair. I don't know if you can see it, did a pretty good job. They were right in there, right on the edge. And if you go underneath here, you see where some of the E-coat was taken away. That's actually where the weld kind of bled through over here, and we just sanded it down, grinded it down, and made it flat. So it came out pretty good. I'll get a better look at it when it's on the car. We went ahead and threw the motor mounts on the subframe, and can't see very well, but the transmission cross member is in. That's all painted fresh. So just more odds and ends going together. It's late, it's dark out. I'm going to, man, that looks so nice. I can't get over it. Sorry, squirrel. I'm going to clean up and probably go to bed, and we'll see what more I can get done after work tomorrow. See if there's any other little things that catch my eye, and we'll wrap this baby up from there. All right, so it's the next day, and it is so hot and humid today. So probably back along. I gotta leave soon. Go get the kids, but I went ahead and put the all the internal stuff back in the door, just minus, well, not the window regulator or anything, but the latch, the mechanism, and the lock. And I put the door handle on this side, which you can't see just yet. Ooh, can I get this down? But we'll see when we put that back on. This is going to be sketchy. I want to go ahead and put, there she is. Ow. I want to go ahead and put the wing window back in. These are probably not going to be permanent because I don't think that these are as nice as they need to be. But for now, they'll make it look a little bit better. We'll pop that thing back in, and then we're going to get ready to throw the door back in the car, I think will be the plan. So there's that. I do have most of, if not all of this hardware. Some screws up here in the tray, so I gotta find where they are. Oh, there, that was too low. This will just be for the sake of, like I said, making it look more complete. These wing windows are pretty spanked, honestly. What does that one not like? There we go. At least the seals are no good on them for sure. So that'll be in their future at the very least, but more parts off my shelves, more parts on the car. See it come together. I think you catch stuff this way too. You start to figure out what you're really lacking. All right, I think I have that all good too. Yep, that should be this guy. And with any luck, oh, I do have some luck. It is that size. It's gonna be a good day when you just grab a random socket and it's the right one, or it's the one you already have on hand. All right, so that's that. Get all this crap off of here, and let's fire it back on the car, huh? All right, so the absolute downside of the way I did this, where I put all this stuff back in, is that the door is significantly heavier now than it needs to be. That's all right. Just get her in the ballpark. All right. Whew, that thing moves around so much. All right. She's there. I don't remember which pin was which. I don't really know that it matters because, ooh, she's not happy. I don't think it particularly matters because these pins are going to get changed. And at this point, if it holds the car or holds the door in the car, it's the right one. That one's right. That one's bouncing all over the place. There she goes. Oh, she needs a little help. Those bushings are down to nothing. Those pins are pretty wore out, but there she goes. This one, car is just shaking apart as I do that, so I got to be careful, but it does work. So that's cool. We can make it out there, but gap is decent, even though this quarters has been beat on and bondoed to death, and the lines all line up good enough, considering, again, the shape of what's here. All right, let's go check out the steering box, because that came out pretty nice. So she's still drying, but I might get another coat. We'll check it out when we're all done, but cleaned it up and wiped it all down with some acetone, as degreased as we possibly could, and did her all up in black. So that should blend in with everything that's on the front of the car now. Not gonna look too out of place. That was the only reason I did it. You know, all rebuilt. It'll work just fine. It was in good shape, but everything up here has been all redone and painted. So be kind of buried in there. You're not gonna see it too much, but you know, high temp paint is cheap, so throw some on there and make it look the part. So I'll give that another once over. Dusty wing window in, all the stuff back in the door, and the door handle on this one. So haven't screwed the lock cylinders yet. I think I'm missing some stuff for it, and I don't have the keys for them. So we'll deal with that some other time. But I think that's gonna wrap us up here. Just kind of some odds and ends, and as I continue to try to put parts on the car that can go on the car, and I think we're doing that, and it's looking pretty good. And it gives me a sense too of how things are fitting together. What's going to need more attention? It's not just a lot of it's motivation for myself, but a lot of it is just that. It's making sure is stuff going to fit? Is what I have going to work? And what needs to be addressed down the road? And I think we're learning a lot as we go. But she's looking good. Next up, I'm probably going to cut the rear frame rail off this thing and see what we can do about fixing that. It's all rusty and ugly. Get some stuff over here. But just kind of blown out in there. So we're going to work on that next and see what we can come up with. But that is going to do it for this one. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you subscribe down below. Keep following along. Drop a comment. Drop a like. Check us out on Instagram at shop_81. I am trying to be better about that. Just little project updates and maybe some stuff that doesn't make the cut here. But that's going to do it. And we'll see you guys next time.